Hello and welcome to this video. We were continuing the first chapter of your history, that is the French Revolution. In last video we discussed up to the formation of National Assembly of France. And in this video we will discuss about the constitutional monarchical France and the war of 1792 to 93, that is the war against Prussia and Austria. So finally in 1791 the France became a constitutional monarchy, which means there was existence of constitution as well as monarchical government simultaneously. The National Assembly completed the draft of constitution, and in that it limited the powers of the king. Second, it guaranteed basic rights to all human beings, as we already discussed in last videos, that they were inspired from the America about the basic rights of human, and they decided that whenever they have their own constitution they will definitely add such ideas. So finally they guaranteed basic rights to all human beings. Third, France became constitutional monarchy after Louis XVI made the constitution official. He signed it. The France turned into constitutional monarchy. These powers, instead of being concentrated in the hand of one person, were now separated and assigned to different institutions, that is, the legislature, executive, and judiciary. And as France turned a constitutional monarchy, the power now distributed or separated between legislature, executive, and judiciary rather concentrated in one's hand, that is, in the hand of king. The Constitution of 1791 vested the power to make laws in the National Assembly, which was indirectly elected. So, the Constitution of 1791 empowered the National Assembly to make laws for France. And the National Assembly was an elected body, although indirectly elected, but it was an elected body. What is the meaning of indirectly elected? That means the citizens of France were not directly electing the National Assembly, rather they were voting a group of electors. They were voting the electors, and the electors choose the assembly members. But even in that indirect voting system, not all the citizens had the right to vote. In that voting, not everyone was allowed to vote. Then who were allowed to vote? Only the men above 25 years of age who paid taxes equal to at least 3 days of a labor's wage were given the status of active citizen who were entitled to vote. Only men of above 25-year age and who were paying taxes of at least of 3 days labor's wage. That means first only men had voting right, second men who were above 25 years age, and third who were high taxpayers, they have the voting right and they were called the active citizens. And the rest, that include women, men under 25 year of age, and men who were poor or low taxpayer, were not entitled voting right. They were known as passive citizens. To qualify as an active member, a man had to belong to the highest bracket of taxpayer. So now, although France has voting system, but it was not ensuring universal adult franchise. It was still partial to a selective group of citizens only. But except that there were various positive changes that was brought by the constitution, like the constitution began with declaration of the rights of men and citizens that include rights such as the right to life, freedom of speech, freedom of opinion, equality before laws, etc., and were established as natural and inalienable rights. That is, they belong to each human being by birth and could not be taken away. Now, these freedoms are allowed to every individual and not only to the member of first and second estate. But we will discover later that these rights were not completely applicable to the passive citizens equally as active citizens. That is the problem. Then the 1792 to 93 war, which was war of France against Prussia and Austria. Let's see why France indulged in a war with Prussia and Austria. Although Louis XVI had signed the constitution, he entered into a secret negotiations with the King of Prussia. Although out of fear, Louis XVI signed the constitution and make it official, but secretly he was indulged in negotiation with the King of Prussia to attack France and to demolish the constitution and make France monarchical France again. Rulers in other neighboring countries too were worried by the developments in France and made plans to spend troops to put down the events. As in France, the people turned down the monarchical government and successfully made France a constitutional, although not fully, but partially a constitutionally governed state or nation. The neighboring states like Britain, Prussia, Austria, they were feared of the developments of France, and they feared that by getting inspired from the incidents of France, their people too will reduce their power, they will revolt against monarchical form of government and will demand for a constitutional form of government in near future. If from now on they will not suppress the constitutional ruled France, in near future they will lose all their power, and in fear of that they came forward to put down France together. But before they could attack France, the National Assembly declared war against Prussia and Austria. So, the National Assembly of France declared war against Prussia and Austria before the neighboring countries could plan to attack France and bring down the constitutional form and restore monarchical form of government again. France did it earlier. In that war, thousands of volunteers thronged from the provinces to join the army. Volunteers means who do indulge in some kind of activity by their own will without any force. They were known as volunteers. So many volunteers contribute to army. Among the patriotic songs they sang was Marseillaise. Marseillaise was composed by poet Roget de Lisses. It was sung for the first time by volunteers from Marseilles as they marched into Paris and so got its name. Because the song was sung first time by the volunteers when they started their march from Marseilles to Paris, the song gets its name as Marseillaise, which was composed by Roget de Lisles. And in current time, now the Marseillaise is France's national anthem, which was first sung during the war against Austria and Prussia, is now the national anthem of France. The Revolutionary Wars brought losses and economic difficulties to the people. We already discussed in last video that France was suffering from economical crisis because of its indulgement in long time war, and again as France indulged in war, it brought losses and economic difficulties. Well, any kind of war never brings happiness. Whether you win or you lose, war is always a burden because it drains out the human and economical resource of any country. You already read about the war of Kalinga in your junior classes, and you must have remembered that the war of Kalinga was won by Asoka. But in spite of the win, Asoka determined to quit war for his lifetime because he was shocked by the devastation. He was devastated by the sight of destruction brought by war. So, war is never peaceful, war never brings you happiness, and so does in the case of France. While the men were away fighting for the country, the women were left to cope with the task of earning a living and looking after their families. As the men were voluntarily joined in the war because they did not want France to again turn into monarchical France, they contributed to the army, and when they were away from the home serving for the country, the women were vested with the task of earning livelihood for their family as well as looking after their families. Large sections of population were convinced that the revolution had to be carried further as the constitution gave political rights only to the richer section of the society. When at that time France was fighting two wars, one against Prussia and Austria, against the monarchical form of government, and one within where the deprived section of France were fighting against monarchical system. At the same time they were fighting for equality because all the benefits, all the shiny things that was declared by the constitutional France was only in favor of active citizen. The passive citizen yet had to fight for their political right. They did not have voting right yet. So they were simultaneously fighting for that. Gradually there was emergence of political clubs. Political clubs were formed to discuss government policies and plans and all. And among the political clubs, the most successful one was Jacobin Club. That's all about this video. Thank you.